Here they are, and let's see already. Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah, this is your future, man. This is the next 45 minutes, so hope you guys are okay with that.
That's next level sportsmanship right there from Brice and Sebastien. And let's see who will win the die roll and start things off.
So I think Sebastien actually won the die roll, decided to go first with the Purrely deck, and it's a bit of a newer archetype that we haven't got to see too much of, especially with the recent limitation of Delicious Memory. But this is a good start here. We got Happy Memory here, so you get to reveal 3 from your deck. Very reminiscent, I suppose, a little bit to Pantheism of the Monarch in that you reveal 3. And except rather than having it chosen, we're going to be randomly picking it here. So this is kind of where like the big limitation on this card happened with the recent Forbidden Limited list. So losing a lot of consistency in that it doesn't get you to plump as often because you can't reveal 3, of course.
Yeah, but still I think that Sebastien really, you know, found the right way to make the deck work. And I mean, with the Sprite engine, usually we see a very small package of them being smashed in the deck, but I think that's what Sebastien did as well, just playing some of them in the main alongside with only one starter, which I think makes sense. You just want to see them and go for the Gigantic.
Yeah, obviously this deck has changed significantly, even the Sprite version, because of the Delicious Memory, and it needed to adapt to a different playstyle. And I think if this deck was already interesting, as mentioned at the Irish National Championship, I think it's a really interesting way of playing it with the new Forbidden Unlimited list. So this might give inspiration to all of you guys watching at home and fans of the Purrely deck.
With the last few weeks and months taking a look at some of the Purrely lists, it seems like not a lot of people have decided to go with the whole Sprite package, but it worked out really well from Sebastien, as you mentioned. He sort of like innovated it, and he's been pretty consistent with it, doing pretty well at multiple smaller tournaments. And I suppose, yeah, as you mentioned, he's adapted it to the new limitation here, and still feels very strongly about the Sprite engine.
And here it is with the Beaver, honestly, something that we are not used to seeing often. I think going with a different line, also having the Sprite in your deck. Now you can go either for the Gigantic if you feel like, or can be a little bit more greedy and go for the Sprint. So let's see what he decides to go for. Yeah, he goes with the Gigantic here. I think it makes sense. So here you can go for the blue, then Jet, and either red or Carrot after that.
Yeah, the Sprite deck has just been so good at its adaptability and versatility throughout all of this past year, being put in multiple different archetypes and actually working out pretty decently even in Purrely.
And here I think there's no interruption for sure from Brice, because we have seen already him in action, and it's one of those decks that really want to go first in general in game 1, which with all the dangers in
a real combo deck, we could say. So just focusing on going for his Dark World plays, discarding some cards from your opponent hand, and just ending on a huge field. Going second, though, you can still put up some very threatening monsters, because most of them are 3000 attack, and going second, especially against Sprite, they might struggle to deal with all of your huge monsters. But for now, the opening is definitely a good one from Sebastien. As you can see here, he can still go into the Purrely as it's level 2, or rather rank 2.
So Purrely is quite a complicated deck, to be honest with you. There's a lot of minor little interactions that you do in this deck that try and maximize the amount of value that you get, usually by maintaining a sort of loop, per se, with the Sleepy Memory to be able to draw as many cards during your opponent's standby phase as the... 3 back row, okay. Mannequin Cat as well,
yeah,
all right.
All in start, pretty much, with 1 card in hand, but 3 face downs, wow.
I think it makes sense to start from Sebastien, especially because, like, I mean, he might be knowing what Brice is on. So, I mean, seen...
as mentioned, Brice plays in the playoff yesterday, so for anyone who paid attention, you might know that he's on Dark World indeed. And a great way to start here with the Genta, searching for the gate.
One of the newer cards added to the Dark World repertoire is the Field Spell Searcher Genta. Not once per turn either, to go with the theme of all of the Dark World monsters. And yeah, Gates of Dark World, an incredible card, discarding to trigger one of your Dark World monsters by banishing in the process. And yeah, we talked a little bit about this at the start. It is a very much all-in, full gas deck as we dig deeper with this Allure.
And especially with 3-set card from Sebastien, he might be holding a Cosmic Cyclone because he's maining 2 copies of it, which might be very strong against you know, the Gates of the Dark World. We'll see.
Feels like a while it's been since we've seen so many like dangers played in a deck, and I'm gonna be honest, they're some of my favorite cards. I love just how much they offer you with the draws and the special summons. Of course, being dark monsters we've seen over the years. Dark is a pretty good attribute to have with the amount of different engines and extra deck monsters that allows you to access. Banishing double Chupacabra, not the greatest one you want to have in your opening hand, so ridding those away with the Allure of Darkness.
And here we'll see if there is a Cosmic indeed, as Alberto mentioned, face down.
So it does banish for cost from the graveyard, which will remove any sort of interaction that you might have thereafter. But
let's see.
The all-important discard for effect ability.
Not yet a Cosmic.
All right.
But we could still chain it afterwards. Instead, as you can see here, he's gonna bounce it back with his Purrely Happiness.
Cute little interactions here with the Purrely deck. The whole gimmick and theme is to try and make as large of an XC monster as possible by attaching multiple materials. You can take your opponent's cards as materials and to really try and establish the Noir, the boss monster of the deck, unaffected from, as well as being able to quick play spin cards. I'm sure we'll see that come out at some point during this duel. Yeah, the Gates of Dark World back into the hand is a little... Ooh, okay.
We see the Kaijus.
Which is actually a really good card in this exact matchup, and he happens to be maining the Radian. Just as a one-off, it looks like, right? Is it a small world bridge, or... No, no small world, just playing one, I mean, Kaiju. Fair.
Maybe he's playing trade-in? No. Or... No. I guess it's a level... Is it a level 8? No, it's a 7, yeah. No, because you can play others for trading. But I mean, I guess it's an Allure target at the end, at the very worst.
Speaking about level 8s, it's really important in the Dark World strategy as you can go into so many different draw cards, like the Giant Trainer. Is he running that? That's usually some of the interactions we've seen with this deck. Yeah, Coach King, Giant Trainer.
But here we see Brice baiting some response from his opponent with the
Salamander Catalyzer.
Yep. Pretty much an extender in the deck. You can reveal it alongside another fiend. In this case, the Snow. You special summon it and you discard the Snow, triggering its effect to search for a Dark World card.
Yeah, really important that the Dark World monsters are all effect triggers rather than, they are discarded for effect, and that's how they meet all of their powerful abilities, not from cost, which is why something like the Catalyzer works really well. As well, being a Fiend, which is important in this deck.
The only issue, as you can see here, is that the Catalyzer is a fire monster, which gives access to Sebastien to either red or, as in this case, carrot, which is a big deal.
Yeah, really important. That Mannequin Can't special summoning for free is pretty strong in this exact case here. A lot of your engine is, quite heavy on monsters, but any spells you do play tend to be quite, sort of power spells that help you draw more, and especially your gates. Another Genta picked up here.
Is it the Genta? Yeah, probably the Genta. You're right. The problem is, obviously, Carrot will be potentially used to negate the other gate, but the first is still in the end. Yeah. It was just spin back by Happiness, so now Sebastien knows that there are 2 copies of the field spell in the end from Brice.
So attributing a level 2 to negate is what Sprite Carrot can do, but also gets the bonus ability to destroy if you really want to by attributing an Inexi or Link. Not going to be too relevant here because destroying the gate not going to really matter too much as we have a second in the hand. And there goes the Snow for cost. It's crazy just how much advantage gates can give you in this deck, and that's really where Dark World thrives, is the ability to have so much hand advantage to be able to, you know, keep going with dangers and trigger multiple dart worlds and just spam the field with lots of link fodder to try and break apart your opponent's field, but kind of lacking right now in card advantage, so Brice is definitely in a bit of a difficult spot here, especially with 2 face downs still there, as well as the live carrot.
Okay, and it's Grapha.
That's an extremely good discard. Good old Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dart World, destroying a face-up card when it's discarded for her effects.
Yeah, can just get rid of a carrot. Yeah, and this was kind of a risk played by Sebastien. Probably what he was thinking is maybe my opponent is bluffing and then I can save the carrot for the second copy of gate when he banishes the Genta. Instead, it was not, and he's getting punished here.
All right, well, this is where the fun part of Dart World gets to pop off here. With Special Summon Nessie, drawing a card, hits that gate. Kind of unfortunate, but we're trying to dig for some more power spells and pluses here.
It's really kind of unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah. 3 cards in hand left for Brice.
Don't forget also, we still have the double cross that's been set from the Search Jet on Sebastian's turn, so still another layer of disruption to play through here for Brice. I think it's really interesting that Brice played Dart World in the playoff as the only Dart World player in a deck that hasn't been super popular, especially with something like Rise Heart in the format. But he decided to play it again. You know, not really sort of feeling like, oh, I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, and decided to swap deck or anything like that. And just sticking to his guns and
the
playing what he's good at.
accession comes down now here, and that is where the cross is finally chained.
Yeah, Accession is an incredible piece of support that Dart World received with the ability to fuse by discarding. But yeah, double cross
taking
really
away that Grapha and pretty much taking away the possibility of even resolving the quick spell.
Feels like the Sprite cards have done more of a sort of a job here than the Purrelys.
Totally agree.
Yeah, the talking about pluses and the ability to gain advantage. That's the third Dollar of Darkness.
Allure.
No banish synergy really in this deck, so that's kind of one of the more rough parts of Dart World. Is you definitely want to have things hit the graveyard. Nothing really helps you when you're banishing in this deck.
Yeah, I guess Ganta potentially, but that's about it. Yeah.
Dart World has just, you know, been through so many different iterations over the years, and I remember years ago I used to play it with like a level 8 engine with the Malefics and trade-ins and just the ability to like spam out rank 8 monsters.
Yeah, now with the skill drains, no?
Yeah, of course, skill drain was just...
and the virus. It's the OG deck where to use all of the viruses, Yeah,
you can play all of them in this deck. Which I don't know if he's actually playing any viruses, is he?
Maybe the side deck? I'm not sure.
Doesn't look like it, actually.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay, now we go for the Dark to take his opponent Purrely Monster.
So, trying to link climb here a little bit with the Dark. If you really want to, you could crash it, potentially. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do, to get a search for any Dart monster with 15 or less defense from his deck here.
Could just go for another danger if he feels like he needs that extra luck at the moment.
Yeah, this Purrely looking quite lonely on this field here. It's a really kind of rough situation at this point. I don't think Brice has too much. 1 card left in hand, just a search to try and help him keep going now. Is that a snow he searched, I think? Yeah. He's actually going to take a snow.
Wow. I think he has another spell in hand. Can't really quite tell what it is.
Let's see. Seems really in a tough spot at the moment. Only another card. Guess another gates would be nice, but outside of that.
Session Grave effect here. So returns itself to the hand by discarding. Is it once per turn to fuse?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, it is a quick play fusion, so we can set that up on our opponent's turn potentially, as we search up with Snow here.
Yeah, the problem was maybe getting back to the Grafa, which he could have searched here, but goes for another Snow. Ooh, but card destruction, interesting.
This is a card destruction for 1?
Maybe for 2.
2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the field,
Yeah,
the
accession,
fusion.
obviously.
All right, just trying to dig for some more ways to try and push through this. So there's a lot of different ways that Dart World accrues advantage, but primarily it is drawing. So be really terrified to see if anyone was maining.
And he does get the third Ganta, which allows him to search for the third copy of the gates as well. Just keeps on going and open to finally get out of deep water.
Yeah, third copy of Gates of Dart World. Beautiful to have a spell that does not have a once per turn clause on it.
Yeah, exactly what we are gonna see here.
And this is only the first turn of Brice, basically. So it's almost 20 minutes on the round.
Yeah, they've played this game out quite long. Yeah. So Brice not scooping, trying to fight through this, and believes that there's a chance here.
Okay, Grafa once again, which is really nice here because you can get rid of another card and then finally resolve a Ganta, banishing and special summoning it. Destroying my friend Purrely.
Yeah, my friend Purrely, one of the most important pieces of this deck here. It gives you recursion from the grave when your Purrely leaves the field, as well as being able to search every turn. Ah, good old Upstart Coffee.
Yeah.
That's still limited to 1, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Remember when this was a staple 3 of in every deck? Good times. Ooh, oh, we actually did not normal summon this turn.
Yeah. Finally, normal summons into the Zephyros, which opens up a lot of interesting plays. For example, yeah, you can go Dugares and then bounce back the gates. Yeah, this is what we might go for. Yep. Just spinning the Purrely.
Dugares, 3 option abilities, and yeah, draw 2, discard. Really, really good, especially in Dart World with the effect to discard.
Really strong. And what you can do is you afterwards can get the gates back.
Oh, discards a Bigfoot. All right. So Bigfoot and Grafa have all been putting the work this duel.
Wow. Now finally gets back is Grafa that was stolen by the double cross. And as mentioned, what you can do now is you can Zephyros the gates, activate it again, and again banish the Genta. So going back to the same direction and having another XYZ available to him. Really powerful stuff from Brice.
Yeah, like this is such a powerful deck, but can be really fragile, especially into a meta of Kashtiras. So pretty confident and brave of him to bring this not just to the playoff, but also back again into the main event here. So proving that despite some of the meta limitations on Dart World, works it out pretty well for him. That was a Bigfoot reveal there. For a Thunderbird, ooh, okay. That's huge. It's another back row here. That's Purrely.
Yep.
Yep. Interesting he didn't use that in the standby phase on his happiness to try get an extra draw. All right, 1 mystery card left in the hand here for Brice. If it's a Dart World monster, that'll be really good. So paying for the cost of the 400 life points for Zephyros brings itself back out of the graveyard.
Yeah, he doesn't really need much at the moment, as mentioned.
So much Link fodder here.
Linking away, is it Saruya, really? Yep, might be. Wow.
So you just Skull Dread. God, it's been so long since I've seen someone summon this in a tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible card. Draws 4 cards from your deck, puts 3 back, and gets a couple of bonus effects as well. You can boost your monsters. You can special summon from your hand. Yeah, really powerful card, Saryuja. Not once per turn either, although if you're playing 3 of this in your deck unless you're doing something really silly. So yeah, it puts 3 back, and I think we're up to 3 cards in hand with another gate. Yeah, that's the 4th gate of the duel that's resolving now. And still has the Grapha in the graveyard that he can bounce back and return.
And the 5th one.
Oh, Dugaris is a fiend.
Activated. Yeah.
Oh, Silva. Nice.
Nice one.
Good draw here. Special summon Silva can bring back Grapha. And don't forget as well, really important that this is main phase 2. So we aren't going to be able to clear with the battle, but wow, I'm really impressed here. Brice has done so good to clear up a lot of this field despite somewhat of a slow opening through multiple disruptions.
Yeah, it seemed like his hand was a little clogged up, but he really managed to make it work.
Doing pretty good. Another danger.
Let's see. This one.
Jackalope, that's nice.
Wow.
Okay. You could special another level 8 from our deck here and potentially go for a rank 8 play.
Yep. It seems.
What rank 8s do we play? Let's see. So we got Coach, Soldier, of course. We talked about that. It's going to need another material.
Maybe Dingirsu.
Oh, by the way, an Xyz monster did battle this turn. So there could be a Zeus line potentially, as we did crash into the Mannequin Cat.
Fair enough. Gotta see if he remembers it though, because it has been 20 minutes. So like, it's the same turn.
This is just your average Dart World hand.
Like literally been 20 minutes, so I'm not sure. But
okay, so maybe Muckraker. Oh,
yeah.
Cerberus.
Okay.
Really good here with the Co-Link ability as well.
Amazing. You get rid of that gigantic, which
is that's
the rainbow.
Newer rainbow?
Yeah.
Not the OG rainbow. All right, so every single monster that's gone to the grave this turn has been destroyed by a card effect. So that's really good by Brice here, taking advantage of this theme of the Dart World monsters. Oh, Mothman. Oh, I hate resolving Mothman, giving your opponent a way to fix their hand. But no choice here. And interesting to know as well, there's no locks from the Dark World deck. You're basically free to just special summon and make anything and everything. The only card that really sets you back is Muckraker, which is a pretty key integral part of this deck and still hasn't accessed it, so yeah, he's still free to keep going here. Purrely!
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Cool.
Oh, he has
Good
Silva
one.
in hand.
Wow!
Oh. All right.
Yeah, this is a crazy interruption. Obviously, Dark World have additional effects if the card is discarded by your opponent. And by the way that Purrely works, special summoning it to your opponent feels, that counts as an opponent card, and it gives the Silva the additional bonus effect, which is crazy because getting rid of 2 cards from your opponent hand is just brutal.
Is it random or do they pick?
They pick.
Okay.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dart World monsters all have, like, you know, neat discard effects, search, pop, special summon. But as you mentioned, when you start resolving those bonus effects, it's really, really brutal. Hand looping for 2, not once per turn either.
Yeah,
so
special summoning from the Saruja now, and again getting back to the graph, I think.
Is Rainbow level 8 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, double Grapha Rainbow.
We're going for Coach.
All right, Coach, tag me in. So it draws basically 3 cards, and do you keep spells or is it just monsters?
No, you can just draw.
Just draw 3, and then it does a bonus burn damage if you're.
You just literally draw 3 and deal 2400. It's like really busted. Yeah.
And honestly, he managed to navigate through all Sebastian's field, which was...
Yeah.
Oh, Security Dragon as well.
Nice one. You can get back both the Purrely or the Kaijus working really well here.
Yeah, card advantage to Brice as well, since both of these cards on his opponent's field belong to him. Security Dragon has it's one of the very sort of early Link monsters. And it's sort of dipped in and out of the meta, but it's always just been such a powerful tool with but it just kind of sometimes has awkward arrows. But yeah, it works out really well in Dart World. Another Link play potentially.
Sent just the Grapha, right?
Yeah, why? It was double Grapha Security Dragon, right?
So it's double Grapha that he now sends to the graveyard to special summon.
Right,
okay, again, McCracker, yeah. Great card being played also by the Alive Twin Runic Sprite decks, but in this one, probably doing what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, so this is where the real big extension play starts to come from Dark World here. Brings back a Fiend from your graveyard and it discards for effect. Truly does feel like this card was designed for Dark World, although I can think of another deck with the theme of the Underworld that should be discarding, unfortunately. We're not going to see that here. I'm really sorry, I have to make a BA reference whenever I can.
I know.
So the only downside is that you can only special Fiends for the rest of this turn here. So there is one more Fiend we could hypothetically make, and that is Nightmare Unicorn. Co-linked over to the Muckraker could give you another draw as well.
Yeah, and we are actually back to 4 cards in hand, I think.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think he had like 2 cards in hand at one point.
Absolutely. It felt like he was on the brink of breaking. And
Yeah.
Card destruction is a good card in Dark World, you know? Even when you only discard Shu.
All right. The last Nightmare piece of the puzzle is Nightmare Unicorn.
Yeah, gonna get back his own Ceruli, and then...
I assume you still draw if it goes into your deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I think he's left with just a handful of cards in the deck.
He's been through everything. Like it's really deck thin quite a lot.
This is a crazy, crazy turn of events. And beautifully played by Brice, who not only managed to go through a lot of interruptions, but got rid of his opponent's field and 2 cards from his hand. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Nightmare Griffin as well, going through each part of the Nightmare archetype here. Absolutely fantastic. Gets to reset any card from his graveyard. Oh, resets the fusion.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And now this is great for Sebastian's turn here. Gets a draw as well in the process after resetting. Talents!
Just in case.
Puts back the last card. Right. How did Sebastian go from a full field and like 3 cards in hand to nothing?
He deserves an applause. I mean, it's literally a masterclass. Wow.
How did he do that?
Scoops it up.
Yeah. That was an insane game from Brice. What a start to this match.
It was kind of underwhelming at the start, right? Like it felt like it was kind of, you really ran out of gas and then slowly started to build advantage. The Garrison, the card destruction, and 4 Gates of Dark Worlds revealed.
I mean, we thought as if the game was already over in a couple of minutes, and then I don't know, 1 card destruction had it all.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, impressive stuff. Like he started with 3 set cards and a couple of monsters on the field, and he had nothing.
Clearing everything. Not 1 card to his name.
As mentioned, a lot of you might have doubted him when he was earlier shown his round 1 from the playoffs yesterday, where he lost. But after that, he has been on a roll, winning all of his remaining playoff matches, and now on an X1 record, showing, even if he is going to lose or not make it to the top cast, showing that Dark World is definitely a deck that should be put some more respect on, and is here with very good chances of advancing in this match, I would say. Yeah? I'm afraid if you are Sebastien, like, what do you do? Like,
I want to pick up 3 Dark World structures now.
Yeah,
that was so fun. That was so cool to watch.
But yeah, now, I mean, Sebastien honestly opened up pretty well. So now
it wasn't even bad opening. You know, it was pretty decent.
He's going to take a look at the side decks, probably bring in some Bestials. Those are obviously really good against any dark deck. And might focus on going for the Noir. He couldn't really access it in game 1. That was the turning point. On the other end, though, as we mentioned, in the main deck, Brice doesn't really play anything outside of like a Talent and a Kaiju. In the side deck, he has some interesting tools.
Ixie Encore.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a while.
Been a minute, but...
Doesn't Ixie Encore have a unique interaction against Noir?
Absolutely. It does work because it's your opponent.
So it targets the materials, but Okay.
So essentially, you can use it as one of the few outs to a car like Noir. And
Rongominiad as well, if you remember that.
Yep. It seems like he came prepared. He's playing 3 copies of XYZ Encore. But let's see if that will be the case for Brice. As our duelists are about to end their side decking, we can briefly go through the game number 2.
I think the Bestials, as you mentioned, play such a major part of the meta's side decking. You know, Dragon Link plays a full entourage in the main, but so many players opting to play Bestials just in the side as this this amazing kind of buffed DD Crow ability. And against Dark Worlds, that's really important that you trigger those graveyard effects. So they will still trigger, but removing things from the graveyard, especially Grapha, it's going to be quite devastating. All right, well, I assume Sebastien wants to go first, although there's the risk of having everything pulled apart again like we had last game.
Okay, but the Nimble Beaver is a great way to start things off. Here you can get the Angler and obviously access all of your Sprite engine. There are no hand traps at all from Brice, I believe, right?
Oh no, he does not need hand traps.
Yeah.
He just needs dangers. That's all he needs.
That's true.
Talking a little bit about the Purrely adaptations and such, obviously Sebastien has opted to go for like the Sprite engine. But we've seen a couple of different ways people play it. I know one of my friends likes to play like just lots of hand traps, right? So that you can keep drawing into them with the Sleepy Memory. Some people even like to play like discard engines. I don't know if you're a fan of, actually, funnily enough, you can play some Dark Worlds.
You can play Dark Worlds, that's the thing.
Yeah, there's Dark Worlds, a couple of Shadals I've seen running around as well. That's a callback.
I think in general, Purrely is very consistent, even though, you know, that's the Delicious Memory that was limited. And I think in general, I mean, I like the idea of combining it with Sprite monsters, for example, as Sebastien did, but I think if, like, we have to consider a matchup in which it doesn't help you out is Dark World, because, you know, you basically lose all the resources, like, in a second. So it's, once again, here we are witnessing something that we have already seen in Game 1.
But this is actually not a Purrely opening, because once you go for Gigantic, you're shut off the Purrelys outside of the XYZs.
No, I told you, he's playing a Sprite deck.
Yeah.
100%. Like, we haven't seen Purrely resolve yet, which is, I love Purrely. You know, it's a non-once per turn, Foxy-like effect from Salmon Gray, Excavate 3. You can resolve all 3 in 1 turn. But haven't yet to see that play off by Sebastien here. You know what I'm really surprised about? He's not playing any like interesting Mannequin Cat targets.
Yeah, exactly. Just plays, you know, standard stuff. Nothing, you know, particular as we have seen over the last few months.
And we start with a Danger, I'm pretty sure. Couldn't quite tell which one it was, but I think he did reveal a monster from his end.
Well, Chupacabra is ideally not the one you want to start with, so hopefully it wasn't that one.
But
he has the Anchor.
Never mind, or maybe he chained it, I guess. Yeah, he does have the Anchor. Usually we use it on the Noir, but does work here. And at the same time, it could be a risky choice, right?
Does this trigger the Sprites?
I think so, yeah. Because you can just special summon them, right? Yeah.
So he's resolving the Danger, hits Jackalope, and... Oh, it must have been the Jackalope he revealed because he didn't special anything. Yeah, that's rough. You don't really want to have your Danger sniped this early, although I suppose Jackalope is one of the better ones that get hit here. And yeah, it looks like Ma is indeed going to resolve both effects of the Sprites, so that XE Encore actually being pretty relevant here.
Yeah.
So the Double Cross detaches from a...
it just attaches to any... It's not related to Sprites, actually.
Okay.
You can just attach to any Link shoe or Ranked shoe in this case, you know, depending on which
I was just wondering, maybe it was like he should have hit the Sprite, the Gigantic, because of the way that the Double Cross works.
Fair enough, but no, you can still do it.
Ooh, Talons again. All right.
Is he playing the Zeus?
Brice?
Yes.
He does.
Nice.
Yeah, he does.
So maybe that could be a way also of turning
Chooses
this
to
one
draw
around.
instead. I think he wants to dig deeper and deeper for those Dangers.
Yeah. At the same time, that could have been interesting because that would have shut down the double cross, you know?
Just by stealing it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn into attack, go into a Zeus. They need another response.
I don't really know what you could possibly have set here to deal with the Zeus.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Brice doesn't want to use his battle phase just yet. I think that's...
I agree, because he's actually able to OTK through this.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
I'm not doubting him. I'm not doubting him.
All right, Genta vanished from the gates of the Dark World. Do we have a set? Yes.
Okay.
Cosmic
We
Cyclone.
do have a Cosmic.
And there's also Mystical Space Typhoon in case
yeah.
there will be not enough.
You think he brought in MST? Good old OG MST?
Was he actually playing?
Yeah, he's playing one MST.
Wow.
Why one?
One Mystical Space Typhoon.
It's a cross-out target.
Okay, now I'm rooting for Brice even more. I mean, yeah.
All right, rank 4 abilities here as well, potentially. I blinked and I missed it. Was that the normal summon of the snow?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. It looks like we want to try line up for a rank 4 play.
Great to have Accident Knight, but it doesn't play it. So.
I have seen people play that, right?
Yeah,
like, that is definitely not
in and off.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Instead, is this the Dugares? We could see the double cross, but it's Book of Moon here. So he's playing Book of Moon and Mystical Space Typhoon in the deck. So really going back in time for those quick spells.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Just how many of these quick play spells from the Duel Monsters era just have so much versatility and usage
Enemy
even today.
controller as well, you know, on OG.
And I think Brice...
Oh, Bestials.
He might have just passed, and the Magnamur is a great tool to deal with this.
This wasn't in the end phase, was it, I hope?
I think so as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not Book of Eclipse though, so it's not gonna get flipped up yet. And this might be a quick one compared to the 25-ish game one we have had.
That's really unfortunate. Especially after drawing 2 cards with talents, I was hoping to keep popping off there, but unfortunately, doesn't seem to have too much left in his hand. We know it's not any hand traps, so not too sure what he could possibly have here.
Yeah. That's definitely Sprite, not Purrely. Sprite Beastie.
All right, Sebastien, at this point, I just need you to summon a Purrely cards, all right?
Yep.
Are there any generic Purrelys? I don't think so, right?
No. Most of them are, actually. You can. Yeah.
Okay.
We saw some players this weekend using Kashtira, because, you know, the XYZs are rank 7 as well, so they can
the happiness.
And yeah, as you can see here, he's making it.
Do you know the line for OTKing with happiness? There's a bunch of shenanigans you can do by resolving the, I think, it's not delicious. Is it delicious? The you got multiple attacks off the effect of happiness, and that's one of the ways that Purrely can actually establish an OTK is by using happiness. Yeah,
which is also the reason why they are playing Santa Claus, to just attack over it multiple times in defense and just get more and more searches from the deck.
Yeah, there you go.
I think he entered battle phase, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's cleared the Dugares now.
It's not activated is Gigantic, which maybe, if he doesn't go for game, could lead into a Zeus.
Feels kind of bad to make a Zeus when you have a full field like this, but I know Purrely does regularly actually end on that. Not to mention as well, by the way, the Zeus materials in Purrely, you can have like a 5-use Zeus sometimes.
Yeah. And with 6.5 minutes remaining, is there a world in which this ends in a draw as well?
Might be.
So I think you're okay to like keep playing a little bit here, but as you approach maybe like 4 minutes or so, I think in Brice's case, you just try to like survive as long as you can.
Yeah, and
then you can go to game 3.
Absolutely.
And you have a lot of ways to inflict burn damage to your opponent with, you know, the Giant Trainer.
And I think he sides some other options.
He sides Cowboy.
Yeah, he sides Cowboy.
Yeah. For no other reason other than... yeah, for no other reason other than the battle phase effect to clear 3,000 attack monsters.
Absolutely. Honestly, that card was amazing back in the day, not even... yeah. But now, as mentioned, finally some Purrely action from Sebastien, getting both of these engines mixed up together. Yeah, this is getting through the roof. With my friend Purrely now selecting one of these 3 cars.
Casually has
Okay,
three.
he just picks up his cards, and yes, seen enough. We are heading into game 3. Very opposite game 1 and choose. We witnessed a very long game 1, although it lasted technically only 2 turns. It pretty much was over 25 minutes long. This one, not so much. It was just a brutal opening from Sebastien, which I gotta say, especially thanks to the Book of Moon, was not able from Brice to just come back.
Very strange. I mean, it's not really like, I wouldn't feel like Book of Moon is the card that would have ended that kind of turn, right? Typically against Star Wars, because you just put up like a bunch of big guys and worked out really well despite that.
Yeah, and even in the other play that I was suggesting, which was taking and stealing the Gigantic to make the double cross useless, the Book of Moon would have saved the day. Yeah. So in the end, it would have been the MVP regardless of this game 2. But as mentioned, time is approaching, and I guess it's gonna be up to Brice whether he has enough combo pieces to set up some damage. On the other hand, what can Sebastien do to stop him? He has some Bestials, he has 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Anything else sticks out to you?
You could potentially Dark Ruler evenly match, but it seems like, I think at this point of the time, you know, getting to a battle phase might be a bit hard. He does play a Resonator, I think I saw, right? So
yeah, there's
he could gain life himself, potentially, on the clapback.
He does have 3 copies of Impermanence as well, so to at least stop some of this cowboy action. So this could still end in a draw regardless, so we are going to see whether that's the case.
I think it's really funny that he's got, like, you know, multiple burn options. So if you imperm, like, the coach, you can go for cowboy instead.
Then go for cowboy, yeah. That's fair enough. But again, it will be up to Brice whether he can combo through. Our duelists are almost ready with their side decks. Let's jump into game 3.
As we saw in game number 1, Dark World can really play for a long time just by itself. So with 3 minutes left on the clock, I think it really does come down to, has Sebastien drawn away to prevent Brice from winning this game? Okay, set card destruction!
Wow. But there is an Ash Blossom!
No way!
No way! No way! What a start to this!
Unbelievable!
Wow!
All right, Imper Magnamot Resonator!
As well.
Wow!
Okay, well, Bestial Magnamot would have been very, very good. Imperm as well, and the Resonator even on our own turn here, but Purrely over to the opponent's side of the field here, discards Snow under Light of Dark World to search a card from the deck. Wow.
The end was crazy from Sebastien.
Don't forget as well, by the way, Purrely now turns off an impermanence he might have drawn.
Absolutely.
Which is huge.
And honestly, I mean, the Snow being drawn after the card destruction was very powerful as well, but Sebastien hand was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, too bad for Sebastien. Honestly, card destruction, the worst you can see there, alongside the one called by, and yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, on Sebastien's side here, unfortunately, I don't think there really could have been too much he would be able to do here, because with so little time on the clock, there really isn't any opportunity for him to gain or deal damage. And so, yeah, it really is just, you know, can Brice inflict any amount of damage with 1 minute 30 on the clock?
Or yeah, is it gonna be down to a draw otherwise?
So red Resonator special to the field of Brice. Is that the bonus effect of Snow?
Yeah, because when that is the case, I think this is how Brice can actually use the effect and win with his opponent Resonator. This is crazy.
That's so ironic. He doesn't even need
wow. Oh yeah, because when it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, you get to special summon.
You can special and take the Resonator. That's so funny, actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he's already used the effect. Yeah, he's up by 600. So
he's up.
Now we just have to...
yeah, he's going to keep going, combo off. That's what his deck is supposed to do. He has pretty good hands still. And this seems like just Sebastien lost to his own card.
Oh, no. Talents.
Crazy, yeah.
Adding insult to injury here as Brice draws 2 cards from the top of his deck, stealing the opponent's red Resonator. Wow. Phenomenal.
What a way. What a way.
What a way to win.
Yeah.
Incredible. No synchro action with the Resonator, most likely, but I think that Resonator has done more than enough of its job at this point.
Absolutely.
Special summons the Rainbow out of the hand here. Discards Genta again, going for another Gates of Dark World. Not once per turn. Very on point and on theme with the Dark World strategy. Such a fun deck, like just so fun.
It's a lot of fun. And it's one of those decks that it's really fun to even play by yourself, you know. Just autopilot, draw some hands and have fun on your own. It's really, really fun.
Like just set up a mirror in front of you and have a good game.
Yeah, solitaire game, why not?
All right, Silva's coming out here, special summoning, drawing more, spamming some bodies onto the field here.
Yeah. But as time is called, obviously Brice is ahead, so unless there is a surprise coming his opponent way, he could just probably end it. And it is Sebastien picking up his cards. What an ending, honestly. If you would have asked me, that Resonator would have won the match in time. Obviously, I would have said, okay, then Sebastien is the winner of the match. No, no, no. So his opponent, Brice, found a way of actually abusing his opponent's own Resonator thanks to the additional effect from Snow.
I completely blanked on the bonus effect of Snow. Of course, the Purrely triggers that, and it just let... Again, the Dark World monsters, incredible effects when they're discarded by your own Purrely.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever witnessed something like that, honestly. I mean,
I've never seen Snow's second effect resolve, personally.
No, and especially
I've seen Silva, I've seen Grapha, I haven't seen Snow.
Especially in this way, like that was
for the
absolutely
rest of it, incredible.
Really, really, really crazy stuff. And well, Brice still on a 6-1 record with Dark World. Incredible chances of at least advancing to the H2 and then making it to the top cut. His opponent falls on an X2 record. Still, again, pretty decent chances, but of course cannot really afford to lose anymore. A draw might be enough to make it to the top cut, but he needs to keep his focus. But what a match we just went through, honestly. I think it's one that really I suggest everyone who missed it to just go back and watch it at the end of the day. It was so much fun. It had everything that you would hope for in a match.
Yeah, we had some back and forth, we had drama, we had top decks. That's just peak Yu-Gi-Oh!
Absolutely, and even the ending outside of the Resonator, you know, the card destruction, Ash Blossom, called by the Grave ending. That's just, you know, what you want to see. And yeah, pretty hyped up for this ending. But obviously, this was round 7. And we have 2 more rounds for the day before.
It's our final round for us here.
Absolutely. So this is what I was about to say. Thank you guys for being with us, and especially with us, because this is the last round that me, Alberto, and Nadir will do for the day. But obviously, we'll leave you in pretty good hands as our German teams plus Tom will handle the last 2 rounds. But we'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. of course, for round, I guess, number 10, because we are going to have the last 2 rounds of Swiss tomorrow before the cut to the top 64 to find out first who is going to the World Championship and then who will be the 2023 European champion. But without doing that, we have a lot to do before, and that is to find out who will be the duelists advancing to the day 2, because obviously there will be a cut as always, and so you really want to keep focused, win those remaining matches, and with the numbers that we have, as mentioned, I would say that you need to go at least 8-1-2 to guarantee a place in the top 64, and that's obviously a really tough task to go through.
A decent amount of players will be able to make it to day 2, but once you start hitting X2, X2-1, you're going to have to start asking for some favors from those tiebreakers.
Absolutely. So. And especially the last 2 rounds, as I think all of you guys also have experience with, are kind of the toughest because, you know, fatigue really kicks in and you need to keep focused, and that is where even the deck that you play can really change. If you play a deck you're super familiar with, I'm honestly surprised by Brice because that deck seems really complicated as well. A lot of different decisions, but he really proved that the deck is valid. And so, once again, guys, thank you for being with us. Personally from us, see you tomorrow, but stay tuned because there is a lot more content for the day. And to keep going, Brice is ready with Ed for the winner's interview.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Yes, I am indeed joined by Brice, who's just won that round 7 feature match. Brice, how are you doing?
Well, pretty good, actually. Yeah.
I mean, coming off the back of that very long game, pretty good. That requires some stamina. So talk to us a little bit about Dark Worlds, for instance. Why Dark Worlds? What do you like about the deck?
Okay, so the thing is, yesterday I played the World Championship playoffs, and I had to make a choice. So I started playing like several decks within 2 weeks, and I realized that whatever the deck was going to play, I would not be the best player of the room with the deck because I had less experience. And I figured out that Dark World would be a good pick because no one would make shifter and draw and stuff regarding of the format of the playoffs. And initially I was supposed to play Purrely today, but I was really impressed with how Dark Worlds were doing well, even going second. And I decided to, you know what, gamble and just go with Dark World today.
I mean, it's clearly paid off for you. I mean, look at all this. Let's go through some of this. So you managed to come back from quite a tough grind, that first game. It did go on for 30 minutes, and we were sort of wondering why there wasn't a little bit more scooping going on. So what's going through your mind in the first game when it's lasting as long as it did?
So the thing is, even if the first game is tough, Dark World, if you are a bit lucky on like the dangers and stuff, you can still make a comeback, because basically once you've triggered all the interaction with the opponent, you're just basically playing on yourself. And at some point I was like, I have a way. I know I have to make him crack his double cross. Using it on the, well, you know, succession fusion spell, I know it was quite expensive for me. But at the end of the day, I know I had one line. If it could get through with the Cerberus and drawing well, and at the end of the day, it just was smoother. And so at some point I was like, maybe I can go for Giant Trainer, but I already did my battle phase, so I had to find another way out. And I was like, even like yesterday, I was not even sure of playing Dark. And thank you, Amouche, because you're right. Dark is like so good. It just, the situation happened, and it just, yeah. Dark put a lot of work.
Excellent. So going into game 2, the one that really stood out to me was the Xyz Encore. Yeah. So how come you put that in? That seemed like a choice that we were all a bit surprised by.
Right. Again, thank you, Amouche. He's the guy who helped me a lot with the Dark Worlds. So the thing is, our worst matchup is Kashtira with the Rise Heart. And so we have Xyz Encore for it because they can do anything against it. And it also helped against like rank 4 decks like Vanquish Soul or Trap Tricks, who can like put in the extra deck Abyss Dweller. So the 2 biggest threat of the deck. And while he's playing Purrely, so if I get just through the leap and get the boss out of the field, it's a free win. Now the thing is, he's playing with Sprite, so it's a little bit longer. And the thing is, my hand was pretty poor. I had like 2 Rainbow, 1 Grapha or something, Jackalope, well, the Succession, Xyz Encore, and TTT. So he hit Jackalope, he did nothing. And so if Jackalope is hit and he does nothing, then I cannot even play with my TTT. So I had to force him some plays with like the blue and the starter to have at least a TTT live, though it wasn't enough. But I did not scoop because, well, he has to make some plays. And Dark Worlds is a deck that often go to times. And, well, you know, you have everything in time to win. So.
And then in that last one, quite a lot going on. The card destruction, and then an Ash, and then called by the Grave. And then coming down to time, that you might have had a couple of options. What we saw was the red Resonator that you managed to get his out to gain the life points. Did you have any other options at that point?
Well, using red Resonator to win in time wasn't something I was expecting, honestly. But yeah, you're siding Gogaga Cowboy, plus you have the Giant Trainer who potentially burns 2/4. So yeah, and on top of that, you also you side 3 Dogwoods. So even if you cannot pull like a burn and if it's turn to play, you can still Dogwood him or something. So, and Dogwood is an amazing card too.
Well, it clearly worked well for you because you've come out on top with this Dark World deck. So best of luck in your future games. You've only got a couple more rounds today. It's been a long day, and that was a long duel. So got to keep that stamina up, but best of luck. I hope it all goes well for you. Guys, don't go anywhere. We've got the round 8 feature match coming up soon. And also we've even got more of the World Point qualifiers that we were seeing yesterday. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more coverage coming your way.